Hello once again, dudes, dudettes, and all those in between. Thank you for tuning in to a crazy GunNut Gaming. So, first and foremost, I do want to apologize. The gameplay featured here is actually gameplay that I took on my Xbox. Having some troubles with my Elgato. It's not working exactly how I wanted it to. A lot of the footage I was getting was really choppy. So I just decided to grab a couple clips out of my game DVR. So they're not the best. The quality is going to be a little bit lower than the Fortnite gameplay uploaded previously. But it's about what I could work with, just given the situation I was in. I just wanted to get a video out for Modern Warfare before the week was out. So what I actually wanted to talk about today was some of the pros and cons that I have personally ran into, and I've personally had from my friends and whatnot, just from playing Modern Warfare the last couple days. So I just wanted to kind of give my opinion. Full disclosure, I am a COD fanboy, so I am going to be a little biased. Overall, I think it's a quality game. I think there is obviously some things that need worked on, but that's expected with a new game. So let's just jump into it. These are my pros and cons for Modern Warfare. Starting off, we're going to talk about the gameplay. Gameplay is fast-paced. It doesn't always penalize you for playing tactically. There's been many times that I have slowly cleared rooms and moved silently, peeking doors, checking my corners, and usually I'm greeted with a couple players that are unsuspecting, and I get a quick little streak there. It is easy to get a little carried away and assume that it's a Call of Duty game and start running around, and you get punished for it, unfortunately, as it comes. The game does reward tactical play. It does reward movement that is intelligent, that is smart, and obviously with any Call of Duty there's going to be people who run around a lot and basically are just better at moving in the game, and they're going to outplay you in a less than tactical manner and more of an arcadey manner, but that just comes with an arcade shoot. But definitely the con for that is the fast pacing of the game actually comes from its incredibly short time to kill. In previous Call of Duty titles, the time to kill wasn't this fast. The time to kill inside Modern Warfare is much faster than, say, even Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 is a considerably higher time to kill than Modern Warfare. And unfortunately, that blistering TTK is a breeding ground for campers. Less skilled players tend to sit in the dark corners of the maps and camp and wait for easy kills to come their way. It's been a part of every first-person shooter, and especially a part of Call of Duty for as long as I've personally been playing. And I started playing back in the original Modern Warfare, so we're talking probably a good 11 years ago. Camping is unfortunately just one of those things that you have to put up with in a first-person shooter. It sucks, it's not fun, but you gotta think tactically, you gotta figure out how to go around those people and get it figured out. It sucks, but that's just kind of how it is sometimes. On to the next pro. Guns in Modern Warfare are powerful, and there's plenty that do very, very well in combat. Of course, the meta right now is the M4. It's a powerhouse. I've personally strayed away from it just to not really wanting to stick to the meta, but there has been plenty of times that I've put down my FAL and picked up a wayward XKR M4 if I knew that I was going to run into a situation where I needed a good gun. As well as the 725 over-under shotgun, it is a very, very good shotgun. That one I'm not really sure if they'll nerf differently because it is a two-shot, but it has really great range, really great time to kill. I mean, it's usually a 1, maybe 2 hit. It's just a phenomenal weapon overall. However, the con that comes with extremely powerful weapons like that is that there are plenty of guns that should be viable that are completely outclassed by others. You see this really bad when attempting any challenges that require pistol kills. And I know what you're thinking. They're pistols. They're supposed to be last-ditch efforts. And I understand that, but with pistols where they are now, unless you get the drop on someone to land a couple quick headshots, there's no way you're winning a firefight in core. Hardcore is obviously a different story, and you can, pretty much wipe the floor with a pistol as long as you're being smart about it, and FAL is great, it's a one-shot kill at pretty much any distance. But semi-auto weapons almost feel unnecessary in the core gameplay, just simply because of how good all of the AR platforms are at that range. The M4 is really good, but the Kilo 141 is really great. The M13 is really good. I haven't really got to play with the AK, but I'm sure it's viable. Automatic guns completely overpower the semi-auto guns, and that's okay, but the semi-auto gun should have a reason to be used. I personally have gotten my FAL up to level 34 or 35 just because I enjoy the FAL. I think it's fun to use, I think it's enjoyable, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it's better than the M4 because it's just strictly not. As it sits now, semi-auto rifles don't really have a place because why would you pick up the M14 or the FAL when you can just mount your M4 at range and shred somebody? So I'm hopeful that there is a patch here in the future that it just kind of balances. I'm not looking for anything to be nerfed into oblivion because I enjoy how the guns feel. I enjoy how the M4 feels. I enjoy how the M13 feels. I like how all of those guns feel, but I would like to see the FAL feel the same way. I would like to see the M14 platform rifle feel the same way. I want pistols to be viable. I want to be able to pull out a pistol and know, yeah, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage, but if I really do it, I can probably get somebody. We'll see what happens. I definitely foresee some changes. Another pro is maps are very different, which I know this has been talked to death ever since the game was announced, but they're not 3-lane maps anymore. There's not a run to the middle, dash to the side, or flank from the edge game plan all the time. The maps are realistic and cluttered, dirty, uneven, and they look fantastic. If they're a war-torn area, they're dilapidated, they're just destroyed, they're battlefields. They look good, they look visceral. However, one of the cons of that is that our operators' camouflages are really good, and sometimes they can be a little too good. And that obviously could be seen as a pro for realism, but more often than not, I find myself getting bodied by Grinch hiding in a bush. Which is great that you can have a cosmetic change that gives a variety, but when you're damn near invisible, it can take some of the fun out of the game. So I don't know what they'll do with that, because I obviously don't want to say that they should restrict any kind of cosmetic upgrades, because cosmetic upgrades seem like they're going to be the lifeblood of the game, which I'm 100% for. The variant system is fantastic. And that brings me on to my next pro. The gunsmith is awesome. The ability to put so many different attachments to your gun and completely transform the weapon is a phenomenal addition. The first thing I did on launch day was jump into a private match and build the most ridiculous thing I possibly could. It ended up being a Desert Eagle with a huge barrel, an oil filter suppressor, an extended magazine, and an ACOG scope, which is insane. I personally love leveling the guns up, and I love grinding out camouflages. I absolutely love the way that they did this. Basically, you unlock a basic camouflage, and once you unlock that base camouflage by leveling the weapon up, then you have challenges based on that style of camouflage. For example, the dragon camos. The way you unlock more dragon camos is by getting hipfire kills with the weapon. So yeah, there still is a section of camos that are unlocked by headshots like in traditional Call of Duties, but every single lineage of camo actually has a different challenge that you have to finish in order to unlock subsequent camos. All in all, I think it was handled phenomenally and it's great. But it can also be viewed as a con, because I know some people aren't like me, some people don't like to grind guns, and most people probably don't care about unlocking 10 different versions of the recon site. And unfortunately, that huge variety of attachments leads to massive amounts of levels on guns. And to a casual player, that's extremely daunting. The first 10 levels or so are pretty easy on most weapons, but once you get into the 20s and 30s, it slows down considerably. And some guns even go up into the 70s levels. I know the M4, I believe, has 71 different levels, which I love. I think that's fantastic. I love the fact that I have to use a gun and become unbelievably proficient with it before I get everything for it. That's awesome, but some people are going to hate that, and that's totally understandable. One way I think that this could be mitigated is if they treated it similarly to how they treat the camos. The way that the sights are actually set up and a couple other attachments are set up is it's certain sights, but then it's almost like a reskin. They look different, but they do fundamentally the same thing. It's just a certain level of zoom or otherwise. I think a way they could handle it is probably by unlocking the recon scope, and then from there you could unlock the different variants of it, depending on maybe challenges or some other way. Either way, it's definitely something that may need worked on, may not. It just depends on how they want to deal with it. I personally think it's great. I personally think it doesn't really need much of a change, but I can understand how a casual player may think it's a huge grind. And moving on to my last point, the campaign. I will try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but I may revisit it in the future just to fully comment on it. But the campaign is phenomenal. It's visceral, unforgiving, and emotionally impactful. I played it on Realistic, and I cannot be more happy with my choice. It was hard, but not frustrating. Combat felt as satisfying as the multiplayer, and the story was gripping. Characters were easy to like or dislike, depending on if it was a villain or not. The story was interesting and current, the voice acting and motion caption work was phenomenal. The campaign is great. If you haven't played it yet or aren't planning on playing it and jumping it straight into multiplayer, you definitely should take the time to play the campaign. The campaign is fantastic, and of course, it sets it up for a sequel. But on to my negative thoughts about the campaign, which there aren't very many. Unfortunately to me, and this may just be me viewing it differently or because I played it so quickly, it did feel a tad short. Not rushed, and I don't feel like the story missed out on anything because it was short. But it just, I don't know, just something about it felt shorter than the other games. And I'm very thankful for the rewards we got for finishing the campaign this go around, but I would have liked something a bit more permanent. We got XP tokens, which is fantastic, but those are temporary, and after you use them all, they're gone. And the other reward you got was different operators in the multiplayer, which again is fantastic. I love that, but everybody gets those eventually. I would like, maybe an emblem or a calling card. I would really like variants. That would be super cool. Variants based on different levels of the campaign. That would be really, really interesting. Maybe a camouflage or a sticker or something like that. Just something a little bit more permanent so that somebody can look at our gun or look at our calling card inside of the multiplayer and know that, you know, this person beat the campaign. Oh, this person beat the campaign on realistic, whatever it may be. But so I've played this game for a couple hours. To say that's an understatement. I know there's plenty of people that are much higher level than me, but I'm a level 45 in the multiplayer, played through the campaign on realistic. I haven't really touched a whole lot of Spec Ops. We'll probably get into that on a later date, but it's hard. Spec Ops is very, very hard, but once I get more into that, I'll probably come back with some more commentary on that. But regardless, all in all, Modern Warfare is a fantastic game to me. I think it's a great new entry into the Call of Duty series, and I think that there is a lot of stuff to still work on, but it's a new game. It's only been out a couple days, and it's going to get better. I'm very, very excited for this game to grow and cultivate into something that is going to be just an absolute time sink for me. I'm enjoying the grind. I'm enjoying unlocking everything. I'm enjoying the challenges. I think the new variant system is fantastic. The gunsmiths are fantastic. The gunplay feels great. The combat feels wonderful. It's just a great game. Overall, I would probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. So, definitely check it out. If you guys want to add me on there, my name's GunNut. I'll put my full Activision ID down on the bottom. You guys can send me a friend request. We can game together. Cross-platform is a total thing, so PC, PS4, Xbox, whatever you're on, we can play together. Anyways, thanks for touching base. Thanks for listening. If you have any comments, drop them below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Little notification bell will let you know when I upload next. Thanks for tuning in. A Crazy Gun Nut out.